Good evening and welcome to Biz RoundUp. I'm Tamirun Imsat and we at our television bring you a collection of business highlights. Let's have a look at the headlines. President hails economic turnaround at highway launch. Government launches massive tourism workforce program. World Bank backs Sri Lanka reforms. News in detail. The construction work on the Kadawatha-Medigama section of the Central Expressway recommenced recently after a lapse of several years. The project, which faced significant delays due to funding issues and economic challenges, has now secured new financing from China Exim Bank, as announced at the Kadawatha interchange premises. The first phase of the Central Expressway, spanning 37 kilometers from Kadawatha to Medigama, had been halted due to a number of reasons. The second phase of the project commenced yesterday under the patronage of President Anukumar Dissanayake. With approximately 20% of the work already completed, the China Exim Bank has now approved a new loan equivalent to $500 million in yuan to resume construction. The project originally began in 2016 under a $989 million loan agreement and consists of 4 phases totaling 168.7 kilometers. The Kadawatha-Medigama section is scheduled for completion and public opening by 2028. The second phase from Medigama to Kurunegala was already open to the public in January 2022, while subsequent phases will connect Putuhara to Galageduru and Kurunegala to Dambulla. Yesterday's event was also attended by Minister of Transport Bimal Ratnayake, marking a significant step in completing Sri Lanka's crucial expressway network. President Anukumar Dissanayake highlighted Sri Lanka's fast-paced economic development while speaking at the relaunch of the stalled Kadawatha-Medigama Expressway project. He connected the infrastructure revival to the country's broad economic recovery.
අපේක්ෂා කරන ලද අයවැය හිගයට වඩා අඩුවයි හිගයක් අපේක්ෂා කරන ලද ආදායමට වඩා වැඩි ආදායමක් මේ වසර වෙන්න පුළුවන් අතිරේක වියදම් සඳහා පරිපූර්ණක ඇස්තමේන්තු ඉදිරිපත් නොකරන ලද එකම වසර බවට මේ වසරපත් වෙනවා. සමහර පරිපූර්ණක ඇස්තමේන්තු අපි ඉදිරිපත් කළා තිබෙනවා. අතිරේක මුදල් ලබා ගැනීම සඳහා නෙවෙයි. එම අමාත්‍යාංශයේ මුදල් එක් වැය සිරිසන්ත වෙන් කිරීම සඳහා. එම නිසා අතිරේක මුදල් අපි ලබා ගන්නේ නේ. ඉලක්කයක් සැලසුම්කට ආර්ථික මෙහෙයවීම තිබෙනවා. ඒකේ ප්‍රතිලාභ හැටියට අපිට පළමු කාර්තුවේ 4.8ක ආර්ථික වර්ධන වේගයක් අපි අත්පත් කරගෙන සමත් වී තිබෙනවා. දෙවැනි කාර්තුවේ 4.9ක ආර්ථික වර්ධන වේගයක් අපි අත්පත් කරගෙන සමත් වී තිබෙනවා. ඒ වගේම අපි මේ වසර අවසන් වෙනකොට 5% ආසන්න ආර්ථික වර්ධන වේගයක් අත්පත් කරගත හැකි. ඒ කියන්නේ අකණ්ඩව 5% ආසන්න ආර්ථික වර්ධන වේගයක් අත්පත් කරගත්තු වසර දෙකක් අපි අභිමුඛ වෙනවා.
Sri Lanka has launched a major vocational training program to address the growing workforce needs of its tourism sector, which requires 800,000 trained professionals to meet its target of attracting 5 million tourists annually by 2030. The Cabinet of Ministers has approved the Hospitality Labour Force initiative to train 100,000 youth. The 6-month vocational training program will be conducted at the National Vocational Qualification Level 3, utilizing infrastructure and trainees from accredited public and private sector training institutes across the island. The program will provide both theoretical knowledge and practical training in groups of 30 students covering 360 hours over 60 days. The first phase will train 20,000 youth from Samurdhi beneficiary families using funds allocated for Samurdhi empowerment, with the program running from 2025 through 2026. The remaining 80,000 people will be trained through public-private partnerships, interorganizational cooperation and co-sponsorship funds. The Sri Lanka Institute of Tourism and Hotel Management will maintain academic standards, management and quality assurance for the entire program, which costs approximately 55,832 rupees 50 cents per participant. This initiative addresses the critical shortage of trained hospitality professionals needed to achieve the government's strategic objective of attracting 5 million tourists annually by 2030. The Asian Development Bank has approved a $100 million loan to implement a sustainable tourism development program in Sri Lanka. Cabinet spokesperson Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa provided details on how this funding will boost tourism infrastructure in key regions, as announced at the government press conference recently.
යෝජනාව තිරසර සංචාරක සංවර්ධන වැඩසටහන ක්‍රියාත්මක කිරීම සංචාරක ක්ෂේත්‍රයේ වෙනුවෙන් ශ්‍රේෂ්ඨ සංවර්ධන වැඩසටහන ක්‍රියාත්මක කිරීම සඳහා ආසියානු සංවර්ධන බැංකුව විසින් ඇමරිකන් ඩොලර් මිලියන 100ක ණය මුදලක් ලබා දෙන්නට එකඟතාවය පළ කළා තියෙනවා. එකී ණය මුදල ඇමරිකන් ඩොලර් මිලියන 70ක ප්‍රතිපත්ති සංරචක මත පදනම් වූ ණයක් සහ ආයෝජන සංරචක මත පදනම් වූ ණයක් ලෙස සංරචක දෙකකින් සමන්විත වෙනවා. ආයෝජන සංරචකයේ යටතේ ත්‍රිකුණාමලය හා දඹුල්ල සීගිරිය ප්‍රදේශය ඇතුළත්ව සංචාරක ගමනාන්තවල සංචාරක විභවතාවය සහ චරණධාරිතා වැඩි දියුණු කිරීම, සංචාරක තදබදය පාලනය කිරීම, නවාතැන් කාලය දියුණු කිරීම සහ සංචාරක කර්මාන්තය හරහා ප්‍රාදේශීය ආර්ථිකයට වැඩි දායකත්වයක් ලබා ගැනීමට අවශ්‍ය සංවර්ධන කාර්යයන් සිදු කිරීමට අපේක්ෂා කරනවා. එකී ආයෝජන සංරචකයේ යටතේට ගැනෙන ව්‍යාපෘති ක්‍රියාත්මක කිරීමේ නියෝජිත ආයතනය සහ ක්‍රියාත්මක කිරීමේ ආයතනය වශයෙන් නාගරික සංවර්ධන ඉදිකිරීම හා නිවාස අමාත්‍යාංශය කටයුතු කරන ලබනවා.
Stay tuned. We will return after this short commercial break. Welcome back after the break. World Bank Vice President for South Asia, Johan Sat, has concluded meetings with President Kumar Dissanayake, reaffirming the institution's commitment to supporting job creation and private investment in the country. The visit built on a previous pledge of over $1 billion in financing, as announced in Colombo recently.
During meetings with President Dissanayake, Central Bank Governor Dr. Nandalal Veerasinghe and other senior officials, World Bank Vice President Zat commended Sri Lanka's hard-won economic stabilization and committed to continued support for reforms. The World Bank Group is already partnering with Sri Lanka on two major programs, a $150 million renewable energy program targeting 1 gigawatt with private investment and a $100 million agriculture project. Additional operations are planned over the next 12 months in tourism, regional development focusing on the northern and eastern provinces, digital development and ports and logistics. World Bank Vice President also emphasized the critical need for job creation, noting that nearly 1 million young people are expected to enter Sri Lanka's workforce over the next decade, while only 300,000 new jobs are projected. The World Bank will prioritize mobilizing private capital and attracting foreign direct investment to expand services and create employment opportunities across the country.
Sri Lanka's economy maintained its positive growth trajectory with a 4.9% expansion in the second quarter of 2025 compared to the same period last year. The latest data from the Department of Census and Statistics show this marks the 8th consecutive quarter of economic growth for the country.
The gross domestic product at constant price increased to 2.88 trillion rupees in the April to June period, up from 2.75 trillion rupees in the same quarter of 2024. All three major economic sectors contributed to this growth, with industrial activities leading at 5.8% expansion, followed by services at 3.9% and agriculture at 2.0%. The strong performance was driven by several key factors, including the lifting of vehicle import restrictions, relatively lower interest rates, and continued recovery from previous economic challenges. Significant growth was recorded in construction, which expanded by 8.5%, and mining quarrying, which grew by 16.6%. The services sector showed particularly strong performance in IT programming and consultancy activities, which surged by 18.7%, while financial services grew by 12.3% and accommodation and food services expanded by 10.3%, aimed at increased tourist arrivals. Taxes less subsidies on products also showed impressive growth of 13.5%, largely anchored by increased taxes related to vehicle imports.
A new central bank survey reveals financial market participants' short-term confidence in Sri Lanka's financial system has improved, while medium-term concerns persist. The Systematic Risks Survey for the second half of 2025 shows global macroeconomic risks have become the dominant worry, according to the report released recently.
The biannual survey of 146 financial institutions show overall confidence in the system's stability reached at a net positive balance for the short term, marking improvement from the first half of the year. However, confidence for the medium-term outlook over the next 3 years declined slightly. The perceived probability of a high-impact negative event decreased for the 1-year horizon but increased for the 3-year period. Global macroeconomic risks surged to become the top concern, with 33.5% of respondents identifying them as having the greatest potential impact, reflecting growing anxiety over geopolitical tensions and the challenging global economic environment. Domestic risks were reclassified into 2 categories: fiscal and sovereign risk at 9.7% and general domestic macroeconomic risks at 6.9%. The survey, conducted between June 27 and July 20, 2025, provides crucial insights for financial sector risk management amid ongoing economic recovery efforts.
Stay tuned. We will return after this short commercial break. Welcome back after the break. The renovation of the Pita Central Bus Stand was officially commenced recently under the patronage of President Anukumar Dissanayake. The facility will undergo major upgrades for the first time in 60 years at a cost of 425 million rupees under the Clean Sri Lanka project.
The Peta bus stand, which was originally constructed in 1964, has not undergone any upgrades since its inception at the premises. As part of the renovations presented by the new government, the facility will be equipped with modern amenities such as restrooms, information and communication stations. Officials also said that they would also introduce enhanced security systems and other key infrastructure improvements aimed at improving commuter experience. The construction work of the project will be done by the Sri Lanka Air Force, as assisted by the Colombo Municipal Council, National Water Supply and Drainage Board, Urban Development Authority, NIO Engineering and several other bodies. The project has been planned to be completed by April next year.
අරමුණ තමයි මේ බස් ස්ටෑන්ඩ් එක ඇතුළුව කොළඹ බහුවිධ ප්‍රවාහන මධ්‍යස්ථාන ගණනාවක් ගොඩනගන්නත් අපි දැනට ලබන අවුරුද්ද ආවැයට කෝච්චි බස් ටැක්සි මේ තුනම එක තැනක තියෙන ස්ථාන බහුවිධ ප්‍රවාහන මධ්‍යස්ථාන 15ක් අපි ලබන අවුරුද්දේ ආරම්භ කරන්න පටන් ගන්නවා ඉවර කරන්න බැරි වෙයි ලබන අවුරුද්දේම ඒ වගේම අපේ සැලැස්ම තියෙනවා 2029 වෙනකොට අඩුම ගානේ ලංකාවේ එවැනි බහුවිධ ප්‍රවාහන මධ්‍යස්ථාන 50කටවත් යන්න.
The Sri Lankan government has officially welcomed a major new resolution on Palestinian statehood passed by the United Nations General Assembly. The Foreign Ministry issued a statement reaffirming its unwavering support for the two-state solution.
The resolution, passed amidst the ongoing Israeli military offensive in Palestine, condemns the violence against civilians and underscores the urgent need for an immediate and sustained humanitarian ceasefire. It builds upon the New York Declaration, advocating for a political path out of the crisis through the implementation of a two-state solution based on pre-1967 borders. By welcoming this resolution, Sri Lanka aligns itself with the overwhelming majority of the international community, calling for an end to the hostilities that have caused a severe humanitarian catastrophe. The statement from Colombo reaffirms the country's long-standing principled position on the inalienable rights of the Palestinian people to self-determination and statehood, viewing it as the only viable foundation for lasting peace in the region.
The government of Japan has agreed to provide grants totaling 963 million yen for two key projects in Sri Lanka. The funding will support dairy production sector improvements and enhance the official security services of the Sri Lankan Navy as approved by the Cabinet of Ministers recently. The agreement includes 463 million Japanese yen for improving productivity in the dairy production sector and 500 million yen for the Sri Lankan Navy's official security services. The dairy sector project will provide essential equipment and technological assistance to increase the capacity of the Department of Animal Production and Health. The Naval Assistance Project will supply drones for investigation, surveillance and monitoring activities conducted by the Sri Lankan Navy. The relevant exchange documents are scheduled to be signed by the President during his upcoming official state visit to Japan. The Cabinet approval enables further action on these projects, which represent significant bilateral cooperation between Japan and Sri Lanka in both agricultural development and national security enhancement. With that, we wind up for today. For this and more, subscribe to our channel on YouTube and follow us on Facebook. See you tomorrow with State of Business at 7:45 p.m. Take care and good night.